A beautiful good morning to one and all. Today we are reading When Calls the Heart by Jannete. Okay, chapter 18 letters. And please, those who have not subscribed yet, please do subscribe the video. So the previous 17 videos are there in the same channel, so you can go through before reading the 18th one. So let's start. Chapter 18 Letters. I was busy chalking an assignment on the blackboard the following afternoon when I heard a firm rap. Before I could respond, the door began to open, so I continued on with my writing, thinking that it was a student who had forgotten some item. Be right with you, I said without turning around, and set out to finish the sentence that I was writing. That's fine, Miss Thatcher, came a very grown-up male voice. I swung around, leaving a G with a very odd long tail. I'm sure my face must have betrayed my surprise. There was John's Calgary friend, Win. My breath caught in a gasp and I stood staring for what seemed like eons. My voice would not cooperate in saying the greeting I knew I should extend. I'm sorry if I startled you, he began. Oh no, it's fine. It's just, I thought. I frightened you, his voice held apology. Oh, I shook my head and tried to laugh. It sounded ridiculous, high-pitched and nervous. I decided not to laugh any further. I was expecting the sound to be standing. My voice sounded nervous also. I might have a lot to learn. He smiled and his eyes hinted at teasing. But I'm afraid that I would look a little out of place in your classroom. I swallowed, then rubbed at the chalk dust on my hand. I'm afraid that I had to miss your party, Miss Thatcher. I heard that it was a success. Yes, it was. Very nice, I said lamely. His eyes took in my white dusted hands that were rubbing together nervously, then lifted to meet my eyes. Afraid that he was about to make some silly statement about my students being lucky to have such an attractive teacher, I squared my shoulders. He didn't. His eyes shifted to the assignment on the board and then glanced around the room. He stepped away from me and went on a brief tour, carefully taking in all that there was to see. I stood watching him, noticing that even in the small room he moved with confidence and purpose, keenly aware of the chalk dust on my frock and the strands of hair that had loosened themselves and whisked out about my face. My thoughts stumbled over each other. What a sight I must be! I probably even have a shiny nose. He finished his tour, seeming to approve of what he found. I'm so glad that we finally have a school, he said with sincerity, his voice deep and convincing. Yes, I almost whispered. I'm glad too. They're so eager. Love for my pupils and his unsettling presence made my voice waver, and I was forced to turn from my visitor. I slowly erased the last G I had put on the board and rewrote it properly. Finishing the sentence carefully, I put away the chalk I was holding and wiped my hands on a cloth that I kept for the purpose. Now, mister, I faltered. Forgive me, he said. I was so fascinated with your room I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Vin Delaney, longtime friend of your brother Jonathan. I don't bother to explain that I was quite aware of that last fact. How do you do, Mr. Delaney? I even managed to smile slightly. I admired myself for my control, now that I felt it slowly returning. Won't you sit down, Mr. Delaney? Thank you, but no, I must go. I apologize for bursting in on you unannounced and unknown, but I admit to having a feeling of already knowing you. As I said, I have known Joan and Mary for a number of years, and I have seen you, though I was not granted an introduction, and I mentally supply for him. I never forget a pretty face, right, Mr. Delaney? Delaney? He did not say that, nor anything like it. However, he continued, I spent the weekend in Calgary and was asked to deliver to you this packet of letters. Mary seemed to feel that it was quite urgent that you receive them to stave off your great loneliness. His eyes twinkled again. They asked how you were, but I had to confess that I knew nothing, except that school was in session. He smiled and handed me a bulging envelope. Thank you. It was kind of you to act as a messenger boy. I hope that he recognized and appreciated my attempt at humor. No problem, since I was going right by. Should I see your family again soon? May I relay that you look to be in good health and spirits? By all means, Mr. Delaney. I'm quite enjoying the community and my school. He noted his own dismissal with a slight smile, replaced the hat he carried in his hand, and left the schoolroom. I stood and gazed toward the closed door. I could hear the jingle of harness and the creaking of wheels in the yard, but I did not allow myself the privilege of running to a window. He had not said that he hoped to see me again. He had not made any mention of finding another excuse to call. He had not even offered any of the light flattery that I was rather accustomed to expect. A long sigh escaped me, and I turned back to my chalkboard. It was no use. I couldn't concentrate on what I had been doing. It looked down at my hand that held the packet of letters. The letters, of course, it was the letters from John and the family that had disrupted my thoughts. I would hurry home, have my tea, and read my letters. After that, I would myself again able to gather my thoughts back to my lesson preparation. I hurried home, built my fire, and put on the kettle. I immediately began digging into my parcel of mail. There was a short note from William telling me about his new school teacher and a copied, carefully penned note from Sarah. My name filled most of one sheet. She also wrote "I miss you" in big block letters and squeezed her name in and at the bottom. There was a sheet with hugs and kisses from Kathleen, and in one corner was a little hug and kiss mark from Elizabeth. Mary had written an explanation that Kathleen insisted baby Elizabeth have opportunity to send her love as well. John's letter was brief and borderly, expressing concern for my well-being and happiness, and imploring me to come to Calgary whenever I had opportunity. Mary's letter, a lengthy epistle, included a recitation of everything that had happened in the brief time I had been gone. She added anecdotes and cute sayings from the children. I devoured it all hungrily. I was so glad to hear from them. I wished they were near so that I might more readily share my happiness with them. My tea water had boiled and then cooled because I had neglected to fuel the fire beneath it. I coaxed the flame back to life and nourished it with more kindling, and then larger pieces while the fire took hold again and began to reheat the kettle. I prepared some bread and cheese as I sipped my tea and nibbled the bread, my feet resting on my new footstool, which wasn't very ladylike according to mother. I again scanned through my letters. I laughed at Mary's comments concerning Mr. Higgins. She had met him at a downtown store, and he had awkwardly asked about me. Mary had replied that she assumed I was just fine, although she had not heard from me since just after I had arrived. He had replied with astonishment, "You mean she stayed?" "Of course she stayed," Mary said. Isn't that what she was supposed to do?" "Oh, yes, yes, of course," Higgins mumbled and walked off with a red face. My thoughts kept turning from the letters to their courier, but I refused to let my mind dwell on him. Even though I deliberately tried to keep my mind from staying to win Delaney, I found that the name and the face kept haunting me fancies. Finally, I laid aside my teacup, changed my dress, and went out to split wood for my fire. Perhaps some vigorous activity should settle my imagination. I reasoned that I attacked my woodpile with a vengeance. So, chapter 18 is over. So, chapter 19 is The Living Mousetrap, and the following chapter will be uploaded in this channel very soon. So, thank you for watching. Please do like, share, and subscribe if you don't mind. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.